That's where I love being an introvert. Just being out here in nature all by myself is right up my alley. It may look like I'm just taking a walk, but walking is sort of my superpower. Good day. It is a blustery +8 degrees, and I'm at the Coates Conservatory. It is part of the Edmonton and Area Land Trust, and as soon as I looked at the trail, I immediately put my clamp-ons on. It's not a very long trail, but there are some things to discover. There's a few geocaches out here maybe we'll be able to find. Should be a good walk. It's not going to be a very long walk. It said 2.6 kilometers, and I'm not sure if that's in and out or it'll be a total of 5 kilometers by the time you go to the end of the trail and back. Pretty snowy in the trees here, but those stairs getting down here are kind of icy, so we won't worry about pace today. You don't want to slip and fall off this trail. Mind you, there's enough brush there to slow your fall. With these gusty winds, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to worry about falling trees. So I'm apparently right where the first geocache might be. Problem with geocaching this time of year is whatever container it's in might be buried. But according to the Geocache app, something around the sign. The clue is I saw the sign. Well, unless the sign is the geocache, I cannot see any kind of container. And I ain't crawling down in the brush right now to go see it. Well, let's carry on. Maybe it'll pop out at me on the way back. It appears the geocaching app has turned into a paid service, and they made it a little bit harder to use without buying a subscription, which I don't geocache enough to do that. Yeah, this trail would almost be unusable without cleats on. Between the mud and ice, and in the near future with this warm weather, it will be just strictly mud, making it a little slippery to walk on. See, the getting back is going to be the fun part. Ooh, doggy. I don't need a toque on an 8-degree day. My right ankle is still a little sore from when I took a tumble the other day, and so I've got my slip-on Tensor bandage, give it a bit more support, and wearing cleats is not going to help the situation, I don't think. It's warm enough now that the snow is getting soft, so you sink into it a bit. Okay, we are at a creek crossing. I can't imagine the creek is very deep, but I don't really want to get too wet here. And stay on the trail or you sink right in. May not end up being a long walk, but it will be a good workout. Lots of elevation change through here on less than stellar pathways like this one. Clamp-ons for the win, though. Fair amount of signage through here, so you kind of know where to walk. And they prefer you stick to the path too. Most people chose to walk the creek. There is still a trail cut through here. Trying to figure out where the actual trail is. I'm kind of thinking it's over there. because I think it was mentioned on their web page. That's the Edmonton and Area Land Trust page, that there were 2 creek crossings, and I'm on the creek right now. This land trust is just north of the town of Thorsby and west of the town of Devon. Okay, I checked the map and it still goes a little way through here. I imagine there's the actual trail though, maybe it's up there, and I'm just following other people on the creek here. So far it's solid underneath me, so no worries about breaking through. I always find myself on these trails that maybe I shouldn't be on. Luckily, more than one person's been out this way, so there's an okay trail broke through here. But it still gets a sweat going. When I checked back there when I was debating whether this was still part of the Coates area, it said I'd only gone 1.12 kilometers. I'm like, oh my god. I always think, oh, maybe it's time to turn around and go back, but then I always want to see what's around that other bend. Another walk where I probably should have had boots on. And it looks like the human trail is waning here. I got out early for once. It's just afternoon right now and I've already been walking for half hour or 45 minutes. Look at me go. From a peace and tranquility perspective out here, it is probably a 10 out of 10. A lot of wind blowing through the trees, but that's natural, so you got to accept that. And there's something, you know, kind of peaceful about the wind. That's where I love being an introvert. Just being out here in nature all by myself is right up my alley. It may look like I'm just taking a walk, but walking is sort of my superpower. It's kind of a common belief that introverts don't like people. Well, I like people just fine. It's a matter of, you know, you pretty much like your own people and you're less of an introvert around them. For the people that do actually watch these videos, it does kind of feel like I'm out walking and talking with you. I've been married for, oh, I should know this right off the top of my head. Been married for 18 years. We've been together 22 years, I think, in this iteration of our lives. And, you know, we've got kids and we have family. The best thing I've heard about introverts and extroverts is extroverts seem to need people to recharge their batteries, whereas I am on the opposite end of the spectrum, where I like quiet alone time to recharge. And I find if I've been around people a lot, especially like say at work, where you got a day where you've been meeting a lot of people and being around a lot of people, at some point there's just that cutoff time where you got to go, oh, I think I need to go recharge my batteries and have some alone time. And here you thought I was just out taking a walk for weight loss. Well, that is true, but it's also has to do with you know, a mental drain, if you will, purging the day or week away by getting out alone. It might surprise people that introverts want to put themselves out on YouTube. And the main reason I did it was to keep my Mundane Man channel active. I wasn't doing a lot of DIY for a while there and thought I better get some videos out, so I just started recording my walking journeys or hiking journeys and talking to the camera. And I may spend a lot of time talking to the camera too, but some of it too, I'm just processing the past days and just looking at the world differently without the interruption of human beings. Even my Friday, Saturday morning rituals, I like to go to Ricky's Diner for breakfast, and I go alone. I just have my headphones on, kind of keeping the world at bay, watching videos or whatever, and that makes me very content. Now, not to say I don't chit-chat with the people that work there and stuff, but for the most part it's kind of the me hour. Couple trees up there creaking pretty badly, like they want to fall. And my favorite places to walk are out in nature, so it kind of scratches that itch too, where I'm out in nature, enjoying the fresh air, falling off a trail into snow constantly here or whatever, and just burning off some energy is another bonus. Okay, let's step off the creek here and get back on the proper trail. I'm sure in the summertime you could probably see where the right trail is. Maybe you get off into the trees over there or something, but I'm not sure. I was just following where everybody else was. Apparently there's a geocache back over there, but it looks like you have to go into the trees over there somewhere to find it. And I've since already walked past it, so let's see if we can find the second out of the three of them, which should be carrying on the trail here. I have a mild interest in geocaching. It's not something I like to get out and do every weekend, but there you go. That's another, you know, you can do it as a team or a couple, but I prefer to just go out and look for treasures all by myself. You know, I came up off the creek, but with my weak signal, it looks like the geocache is on the other side of the creek somewhere. So I might have to go back out there and follow it along. Maybe I can find one today. A friend of mine at work is constantly saying I should be a Bigfoot hunter or Sasquatch hunter. And now it's gotten into my head that every time I hear something moving around in the trees, it makes me wonder, is that Sasquatch? Is that a Bigfoot? Okay, we're just backtracking here to where I got on the creek to find an easier way to get down there. What I suspect, though, it might be right where we cross the creek to get on this side. So I might be doing this for no real good reason. Yeah, something tells me that geocache is where those little steps were to get down on the creek, which means I didn't have to come down here, but that's okay. Boy, you'd want to be careful that that didn't bean you in the noggin or something. The most difficult part of this walk or hike is yet to come. We've got to climb all the way up. See that? I don't know if you can see the white line up there. That's the trail to the top. And we got to get up there yet. Okay, here's our crossing that we walked Here I was tentative about walking across the creek, and now I've probably completed a couple kilometers on the creek. So somewhere around here will be that geocache. I think it has to do with that sign over there. The image on the app kind of made it look like it was on this side of the creek, so let's see if we can find it. This geocache is called Walking with Dinosaurs. And I know there was a sign up here talking about dinosaurs. This one here. There it is, that wasn't too hard. I wonder if they left a pencil in. Yeah, they did, so I can write in there. Okay, the last person to acknowledge that they found it were Amanda and Andrew on February 13th, 2026. That was a lucky February 13th for them, or Friday the 13th for them. Okay, mark the little pad as found by Mundane Man. So that kind of gives me a clue on the one up above that we missed. And maybe we can find that one. Now this is where our cleats are really going to come in, because this is all uphill now. I thought I was sweating before. Somebody had remarked online that people had let their dogs run loose through here and crap all over the trail. I guess they weren't really aware that animals natural to the area like to come out of the bush and crap on the trails. Must be more comfortable for them. So it's not necessarily dogs. And also this one, either A, you got to have your dog on a leash, or B, dogs aren't allowed. Not every one of these conservation areas as part of the Edmonton and Area Conservation Trust allow dogs in it. So be mindful of that. Please follow the rules. Oop, and the climb begins. These are all stairs underneath here. And you can see some that are exposed, but they aren't all exposed yet. And like I said, the treads are not your standard household stairwell tread. They made them as best they can with the terrain. I bet this made quite the noise when it fell. Or did it? You ponder that one. Oh, just gotta remember to pace yourself. And if you don't like stairs, this one ain't for you. I can't believe nobody comes along and manages and cleans and takes care of those stairs. I'm sure I could complain and they could say, have at her, buddy. Okay, we're just about back to where that other geocache is supposed to be. And that one at the bottom kind of gave me a clue as to how it was positioned. That one had a carabiner clamped onto the tree with a yellow case hanging from it. So the other one's supposed to be here somewhere by this sign. Not sure how accurate the map is. This one, if I hit it, is, let's try that again. It's called I Saw the Sign. Well, there's the sign. And maybe I just need to walk this way a little bit, checking both sides. And if you see it, make sure you call out and say, hey, I found it. Or you can comment below and say, hey, there it is. Lots of deadfall around here though, so it could have gotten knocked down. just a second here. What do I see there? I see a piece of garbage. Okay, I'm basically right on top of where it's supposed to be. They didn't make this one as easy as the other one to see. I can't find it. I've looked here for 10 minutes, 2 different times, and I don't see it anywhere. It could have fallen down the hill or something with, you know, this tree fell over at some point, so it may not be in its same location. Well, we're gonna have to call that one a loss, I guess. Every time I see something of a different color, I think I see it, but it's usually just dirty snow or something. Well, we'll have to come out here again and see if we can find it when everything's thawed out. Maybe it's buried under something. I think this is the last of our stairs. Nope, there's more over there. Now, when you're here in the summer, you do have to cross that creek at the bottom. So maybe you can jump over rocks, or you got to be prepared to get your feet wet. Okay, this is the last set of stairs. And we are at the end of our walk. And yay, my Jeep is still there. There we go. Clamp-ons are off. And you know, it really won't be long where I won't need these. But then you get in kind of that window where it's just all mud until things dry out. So just one quick look over here. They don't want people going through here right now because it is under restoration, whatever that means. I see they got some netting down here, so they're probably trying to prevent erosion. Okay, that was only 3.5 kilometers. Whew, in an hour and 44 minutes. I was almost walking backwards there, but of course I stopped to kind of look for geocaches without pausing Runkeeper. And about 7,000 steps. So again, not a long walk. Lots of elevation change and up those stairs and everything, and trudging through snow. So I got a good workout in despite the distance. So I enjoyed that. I like the geocaching aspect of it, and a perfect introverts outing, if you will. Until the next one.